Welcome everybody to another edition of Marvel Rivals Get to Know Your Toon. Today we're going to be talking about Magneto, the master of magnetism. Personally, he's one of my favorite characters and I really enjoy playing him in this game. He's a Vanguard, aka a tank. He's a 2-star tank, meaning he's relatively easy to pick up. And I think Magneto is a great all-around tank because he does a little bit of everything. He can poke, he can protect, and when needed, he can brawl. So here you got a little look at one of his alt skins right now, a simple recoloring. And he's also, of course, got an MVP animation that's pretty cool looking, if I do say so myself. And of course, he's got an emote just like everybody else in the game. And of course, he also has a couple sprays to go with it. A cool looking portrait and an emblem of his helmet. Pretty sweet stuff. But we want to talk abilities. So, Magneto's basic is his iron volley, in which he fires a volley of magnetic orbs into his opponents. It does a tiny bit of splash damage, but not that much. It's decent at close range and okay at mid-range. It's good to poke with it. Now, as you start to progress forward as a team, you want to move forward using his metallic curtain. It's a shield that blocks all flying projectiles. You can see it gather all of them on the side too as they start to collect and they drop off into a pile. Another vital part of his toolkit is his metal bulwark, where he can throw a shield around a teammate. Super important if there's a teammate with low health, and it just gives him a little extra protection as you move forward. Maybe you can get your shield up and protect him after that wears off. Keep the fight going, that's the point. Now, he's also got this really strong attack called his mag cannon, which transforms these auto-populating rings around his neck into this large, powerful projectile. The higher the stacks of rings, the more damage it causes. And you can see here that Magneto also has as a passive a float, just like Hela, like Scarlet Witch. One really important part of his kit is his team-up ability, in which if you have a Scarlet Witch on your team, Magneto can wield his greatsword, and this does serious damage to enemies. You can see there's a bit of splash damage, but it does a lot of damage overall, especially if your enemies are kind of grouped up. And so to use Magneto's kit really well, you have to do a bit of everything. You have to provide a big metallic curtain shield so your teammates can advance. You have to bubble your teammates so that they're further protected. And when you can, you have to do that poke damage, swing your sword, or use that mag cannon to deal massive damage. And speaking of massive damage, let's look at his ultimate, his Meteor M. As you can see, he charges up a huge asteroid of metal projectors and throws this big meteor down at your opponents. It's pretty strong. The longer you let it charge, the bigger the ball gets, the stronger the impact. He's also got a bit of lore, some achievements as well that you can get in-game, but let's see some gameplay and see the master of magnetism at work. So this is great right here because right off the bat, before the match starts, you know that you have a team-up activated. One of my teammates is going Scarlet Witch, which means I'll have the ability to swing that sword and get a little more offensive with Magneto. He's not just bubbling and providing a shield for his teammates. He also, when he's at his best, doing damage as well. And with Scarlet Witch as a teammate, he can do even more. Let's check it out as we try to control this point. Unfortunately, Magneto doesn't really have a speed acceleration, so he's a bit slow in that department, but he more than makes up for it in terms of usefulness, as you'll see here. Now, we're getting a lot of fire from that left side, so I instinctively throw up my shield. Strange had the middle covered, but now we've got a little freedom. Our Lokis are behind us, they're healing us. I switch into the sword mode and start wrecking. The sword is super effective and super strong at close range. It really turns Magneto in from an all-around tank into a powerful brawler. Now that we've got the point controlled, we're just kind of playing poke defense or keeping them away, keeping them at bay. We've got Loki's behind us, healing us. We're in a great spot. We've also got a secondary shield as well with Strange. So this is a really defense-laden team we've got going for us. And being a defense-laden team, that allows me to be a little more offensive. You see they're starting to push that right side. They're on the point. I immediately break out the sword. They don't even see me. Magic sword, lay her to waste. Who's got the real sword? They're trying their tricks. We got Lokis everywhere giving us coverage. We're also stopping their Lokis from doing more damage and healing their teammates as well. Poke, poke, poke. Keep those Lokis at bay. Poke, poke, poke. Somebody gets close, break out that sword, start going to town. Pop it off with an ult. I totally missed it there. I threw it into the top of the building. Bit of a waste that, but we're doing okay, so it wasn't too consequential. Again, we're just controlling the point. We're poking. They're having trouble breaking our defenses. And rightly so, because we've got Loki, we've got Strange, and we've got a Magneto. We've got a ton of defensive presence here. Poke, 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 poke while they're away. And when they get close, start swiping away. Hulk jumped right into the fray, and he did okay. He did some damage, but it wasn't enough with all the Lokis. And their Magneto popped their ult in there too, but it wasn't enough because we had all this shield presence and great healing presence with the Strange, with the extra Lokis, and now we just go forward with that sword. They got a little too close. We took them out. So as you can see, that was a pretty decent round. 8-0. I can't complain. Like I said, I really could be a little more offensive because we had such a great defensive team around me. Plus, the most important part, we had that team up activated. That team up is probably, I think, the best one in the game. To me, it really transforms Magneto from being an average to good tank to a very good to awesome house of a tank. He's a lot to deal with. You can't really poke him from far with Hela if he's got a shield up and throwing shields around your teammates. If you get close, he takes out that sword and that thing just does tremendous damage and really turns him into a brawler tank. You better have a plan figured out if he's teamed up with Scarlet Witch. So we'll go into this other map. I think it's probably going to go the same way as the last one did. We seem to have a pretty good sense of controlling the area we need to control in order to win. With Strange, with Magneto, with the Lokis all there, it's a hard combo to break. You really have to pick your angles and get your picks. And there we go, throwing that boulder down. I didn't let it charge as much as I probably should have to get maximum damage, but I think my health was going down and maybe I panicked there a little bit. But thankfully, Rocket was there with his little respawn pod, and we got right back into the fight. Now, I'm trying to get above this Groot wall to do damage, so I'm bouncing off this jump point here. Trying to protect myself a little bit. The Strange is really controlling that area really well, allowing me to poke from behind him. Knowing, though, if it gets down and dirty, I'm going to take out that sword and start going nuts. And that's kind of it. We're really just controlling the point. I'm trying to take out the Lokis at range so they lose that healing. They lose that extra attack. That's sort of my main focus right here. And if anyone gets in close, I'm going to take out that sword and just start dealing damage. There's Groot. Let's go after him. He's trying to get, yeah, he got his ult down, but you know what? We had already gotten to him. Thankfully, Strange had his shield right there too, which helped save my butt a lot. We had our Lokis behind us. Here's another meteor for the kids at home. Yeah, that was fun. And they're just having trouble getting on point, and that's the idea with these control maps. Take that point, really control it, know your chokes, defend, and set up your healing in a way that best benefits you guys as a group. To me, I like destroying a lot of the area in front of me, especially when I have control of the point and I'm defending. It allows me to see everything better. Rocket drops his ult here. I get a little aggressive with the sword and try to go at it. I can't quite get the finish there on a couple of these guys. I end up dying there, but thankfully Rocket has his respawn pod right there, and I can get back into it. Our Scarlet Witch went off. Cleared a bunch of them. Again, keep poking. Know where your healers are. See, we're not fully set up yet, so I'm not jumping right into it. That Strange is getting really close. I know he wants to take out our Lokis as well. So we keep fighting toe-to-toe. And when he gets too close, I try and take him out with the sword, but he jumps away, because Strange can do that. He can fly away. But there's a Hulk coming right at me, and I just take out that sword and keep doing damage. I retreat to get health packs. I retreat to my Lokis to get the extra healing fields, and we just get to work on them. Kind of miss with that ult. I throw it down in the area, maybe got a little damage. It wasn't effective as I'd like to be, but that's the part of these games, is that these maps rebuild themselves as they go on. So you don't always have the luxury of finishing your ult where you intended when you started it. I'm just watching my healing, trying to mow them down when they get in close. Rinse, repeat. It's a great formula for success in this game as the board rebuilds itself right in front of me yet again. 17-2, not bad. Thankfully, we had a Rocket there. I could get right back in the action, and I guess other people really weren't dying too much, so if I'm taking one for the team, that's fine too. We get a little aggressive here, push up a little bit on another choke point. I like bouncing off these jump pods to get some shots in there. It's just hard for them to follow. Here is a Loki trying to establish position. We just take that away from him right away. Here they come jumping in on the level that's rebuilding itself. Doctor Strange launches his ult, but he doesn't have enough teammates and people there to really help him out. We start ganging up on him. Not enough dark magic there to really cause a problem. And there we have it. Great healers. GG's from me. It was a great team effort. I was trying to do my part. I'm not a total tank. I'm not total DPS. I'm somewhere in between as Magneto, and that's where I like to be. That's where I like to play him. He's effective at doing both, and I think he's more effective as a tank when you have a Scarlet Witch teaming up with him. I think you really should take advantage of those bonuses. 20-2, not bad. Over 7,000 damage given, and or I think around 910 taken. So I did my part. Thankfully, I had great healers. And here's a little highlight of it again. See all those Lokis behind me? I'm trying to shield them, protect them, and then I just start launching once my rings are strong enough, and whipping out the sword when everybody gets in close. He's not the fastest moving tank, but he is pretty effective with the right team around him. And thankfully, I had that team here. So, final thoughts on Magneto. I think he's a great tank. He's one of my favorite characters from when I was a kid. I read the comics, I had the video games. I think he's just awesome as a character. And I think he's really good here and even better as a tank with Scarlet Witch on your team for the team up. But, as always, I want to know what you think. Leave me your thoughts in the comments, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And, as always, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.